Joseph R. Wheeler III. What's happening? Welcome back. Another live, another weekend, another day. Universe, another day. Universe bless. Another day. Universe bless. Come on. So what we gonna talk about today? Because I got a lot of good stuff in particular I want to break down. I want to brainstorm. I want to share my thoughts. I want to analyze. I want to realize. I want to revise. I'm gonna say that again. That's some ONYXCON gospel for you right there. I say it's the other three R's. Okay, back in the day, as a joke, folks used to say, because the words didn't all start with an R, but that was the country joke. They said you get your reading, writing, and arithmetic. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. All right. Now, I got these other R's for you. I say research, realize, and revise. You know I like it because I'm a third, so I love these threes. Research, realize, and revise. Let me tell y'all about some travel, research, realize, and revise. Let me tell y'all about some outdoors, research, realize, and revise. Let me tell y'all about some fishing, research, realize, and revise. And you know fishing is a metaphor for life, but we are talking about literal fishing. We are talking about literal outdoors, and we are talking about literal travel expectations, tentative, desired itineraries and possibilities, because I have not and I will not, I say again, I'm gonna say that again, I have not and I will not give up on the dream of making this 5-0 extra special, because it's got to be. It's not debatable. It ain't got nothing to do with where I'm at financially, because I know where I can be if the right things fall in place, and things tend to fall in place when I push the energy a certain way, and I'm pushing the energy in the universe to us having the successful budget required to reach my goals. Again, the successful budget required to reach my goals. So the goal is, or the original goal was to attempt travel to Brazil for the very first time anywhere on the continent of South America. And I've always had Brazil and Colombia at the top of the list. Peru is on there too. I kind of always had Peru at 3. Sometimes Peru be at 1, depending on what dating app I'm on, and I see the right lady, and I say, why do I have Peru at 3? Good Lord, have mercy. Move over Brazil. Excuse me, Colombia. Do you see this lady? Every now and then, that's what Peru do. Shout out to Peru. There's some fine Peruvian ladies. Please believe it. But Brazil and Colombia already have this reputation, and they live up to it. Like, I've got a couple of Colombian and Brazilian friends in America, and they cute and fine. So, I get it. I get it. It is a thing. It is what it is. There ain't no mystery about it. Those are some gorgeous ladies. So, that's one part of the equation. That's one major part. I don't ever turn down the power of the lady element, but I've learned not to travel with that at the front of it kind of does lead the ship. Like, if you think about those old ships back in the day, they always would have, I forget the name of what they call that at the front of the ship, but they'd have that it's kind of like the emblem of the ship, and it would usually be the lady, an image of a lady, and she's at the front, at the very tip. So it's like, hey, you say what you want, but since the beginning of time, men been we've been saying what it really is. Come on, stop playing. Ladies will make you do things, but I'm saying at the same time, as much as women can be an inspiration for a journey, I've learned not to make that the primary. It's got to be something else right there next to my thought of that, and the importance of meeting amazing women. As human beings, we're a work of art, so ladies in their own are works of art. But I'm saying, I also love to see a city that's got a strong public art sensibility. So when you get there, you're going to see murals everywhere. You're going to see beautiful sculptures. People have a sense of fashion and style. There's going to be a district for that. You can walk around. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be fly. I like that. I look for that. I look for that wherever I go. And so when it comes to the consideration of Brazil or Colombia or Peru, or even having to consider possibly somewhere here, because here's the Heartbreak Hotel, right? When you realize, man, you know what? The clock been ticking. I've not been talking. I've done my due diligence. I've been talking about this for months now, getting everybody ready, trying to get folks who would support to send donations. I can tell y'all all the time, it's not hard to find. If you forget what I said, I usually put it in every caption. If I don't, all you gotta do is look at every other video. You're gonna probably see the caption that says, you know, Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Send us a Cash App if you want. It's cash sign ONYXCON. Send us Venmo at ONYXCON. What's up? I see you saying hi. Can't be looking down at the screen right now, but just want you to know I saw you. What's up? Good energy in the building. 2 thumbs up, but we got 17 looking. Then already come and gone about 20 others. How the hell we only got 2 thumbs up with that many people looking? We ain't gonna spend too much time dwelling on it. I'm just talking about you. If it got to you, if you feel silly about it, yeah, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Come on, stop playing. And make sure you subscribe, because that's the only way you can talk. Shout out to somebody named Roblox said the last part of it, because they must be a subscriber, because otherwise they wouldn't be saying that. What's up? People who help us reach these goals. People who want to see me do this content in September that I keep telling y'all. We got to get these donations up. We got to get this channel up. We got to get it monetized. Y'all got to be watching content. You can't be coming and going and not subscribe. You have to subscribe, and you need to be liking and watching. If we don't give me 5 minutes of your damn day, shit, for a whole week. What's that? 7 times 5, what? That's 30 minutes. We got over 1,000 folk. If all 1,000 of y'all did 30 minutes, hello, I think I can get to my 4,000 watch hours goal in a matter of months, because somebody gonna be an overachiever. Somebody gonna go way past 30 minutes. They gonna, man, I didn't even realize I watched a movie's worth of ONYXCON content, and it was all amazing. I was watching fashion stuff. I was watching, he went to all these different events. He covered travel, like he say. He went to Mexico, Malaysia, República Dominicana, mi gente, what's up? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué onda? What's up? Mexico, what's up? You know? All my Latinos, what's up? You know, can I get some love? Can I get some love? Ahora. Ahora. Eh? Todos bien, see? It's all good, right? Let's make it good. It ain't good if it ain't. Todos bien. Todos bien, todo bien, todo bien. I keep telling y'all, man. Woo! Nueva. 99 is coming. It's coming strong too. Nueva divine. Not for. There must be some Latinos in the house. As soon as I started speaking a little Spanish, I got my phone. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Oh, you gotta know who's in the house. Anyway, that's love though. Hilarious. I gotta get my Spanish up. Y'all love it. Look at that. I literally just like that. I got 2 thumbs up. A couple of words in Spanish. Bow. There we go. I love that. Yeah. Mi gente. Hey. Oh, hell yeah. I love it. Oh, my gosh. Portuguese. We ain't forgetting you, Brazil. What's up? I don't know much Portuguese, okay? Sim. Obrigado. That's about all I got for you. Sim and obrigado. I'm going to walk through the whole country and get everything I need and want. Sim. It'd be like, so what did you want to order? Sim. Sir, do you want, I'll be pointing this stuff. Sim. If I'm gonna be in the kitchen, I don't know what he want, but he kept pointing to this, so I guess this is what he want. Just cook that. Bring it back. Is this it? Sim. Is it good? Obrigado. Oh, sheesh. Oh, it's gonna be fun, y'all. We're gonna do some things. I'm trying to tell y'all right now, it's gonna be amazing when we finally do this stuff. It's not a game. I've done it before, so I know I can do it again. Didn't know where the money was coming from. Suddenly folk kicked in. Before I knew it, hot throttle donations from every which way, and I'll be damned, I'm on a plane. And I had nothing but logos to shout out, because everybody had a business of some sort, and I put them on this jersey. At the time, I could do my ONYXCON fishing tournament jersey. So we printed up the jersey. I'm talking about my Malaysia trip. That's when I created that jersey that's just forever phenomenal. Hot Fish Summer, ONYXCON Fishing Tournament jersey. Classic. from the year 2022. What you gonna do? What you know? That was it. That was where we made that history. So I know it can happen again this year for Brazil. And I'm gonna say this, because I also know times are truly tough, and a lot of folk like to get online and still front and act like it ain't what it is now, especially in America. But man, look, I understand when them bills getting crazier. I just saw something today. My dad is an economist, okay? That was his major, that's his focus, business consultant, all that. So he loves statistics. I do too. I love statistics and real numbers. But for me to look at that kind of stuff daily, it's got to be something about it colorful, because I'm an artist. I can't just look at a bunch of numbers on the screen. That don't get me going. For him, that's everything. He don't need all the embellishment. I do. So there's this one thing, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but they do nothing but data like that. But they make it look beautiful. Like they'll have a backdrop and it's colorful, and they'll have maps and diagrams that look colorful. And I said, oh, okay. He sent me the right one now. So I went on and got their app, this thing I'm talking about. And I'm already loving it because it's so informative, and you getting the real of what it is about a lot of things. And like one was breaking down the cost of groceries nationwide. And the city of Atlanta, I was surprised it was that low on the list. City of Atlanta was number 14. I was actually kind of shocked. But when you see the prices of what folk paying in other places, and ironically, it used to be this bad in Atlanta, but they did some kind of deal with the egg gangsters, because the price of eggs went back to something mostly normal, unless you need them extra special, ultra organic, totally free, gave you the illusion that from birth they took the little bitty and held it everywhere and spoon fed it and let it grow up, and it flew all around the yard and fought with its friends and pecked around where it wanted to in the yard, gave every chicken 20 feet in between each other, and all these other mythologies they give you when they say free range. You know, if you gotta have those eggs, then yeah, you still paying $8 for 12 eggs. But Hawaii, which did not surprise me, because I've been to Oahu, and I understand why that was what it was. They said that's the highest groceries in the whole union, and I said because it's that island. There's other U.S. territories that are islands, but that one being a state, not a territory. You know, even though that's a whole other conversation about the messed up of all that. Because power to the indigenous groups. That's all I'm gonna say, and leave that alone before I get too deep into that. But it ain't no shame about it. I can go there. I'm not one of these scary folk when it comes to talking about real history and what's screwed up about, you know, backwards ass systems of white supremacy all over the world. We go there all the time here on this channel, because all of that affects the art life. You feel me? So we don't veer away from it just because it's racial. Because all those are constructs anyway. So we love to get into the psychological damage of all that that way of doing everything any damn way, and what's so messed up about current politics and everything. But you add all that in, you add in tariffs, and somebody who is in Hawaii right now, who may have lived in the quote-unquote mainland, all right, and then decide, oh, I want to retire in Hawaii because I'll be in tropical paradise. Yeah, okay. Well, guess what? All them products that you done got used to will be in the grocery store, because, it is quote-unquote still an American nation. And you gonna get them American tariffs on all your groceries. So the price of freaking eggs and all this other stuff there is still like $8 and stuff for 12 eggs. Or I think they said a carton of milk, a gallon. I don't want to say what the price was and be misquoted, but I do remember that egg price. I said, hell freaking no. Hell freaking no. And it's just, and for that to be normalized, like I say, we went through a phase of it here in Atlanta. And I think it was reaching a fever pitch where they knew, man, these folk they're not gonna do it. And then there's enough people who way back and even more recently are starting to have their own chickens at home. That's becoming more, it ain't just a little hobby no more. People doing that like serious. We got a friend in the family that we get eggs from, to where unless I'm in an emergency and just ran out and I need some eggs, I don't buy eggs like that no more. We go through the friend of the family and pay him way the hell less to get a whole bunch of eggs. And straight up, he almost has to sell them or something, because he get too many. If you know anything about chickens and you got a decent flock, man, they put out some eggs. them hens be putting out some eggs. They some little egg factories. So the eggs is coming. So you're gonna get a lot of eggs. The thing is, you gotta keep them fresh. You know, you don't want them to go bad. So you definitely want to give them away or sell them or try to eat them. But you ain't gonna eat them all by yourself. This one first person and stuff like that. You know. Anyway, so the bottom line. Shout out to one hanging with me. Let me know if that's who it made the comment. I just want to know who's looking. I like to know who's staring at me when I at least got one person who's still cool up in here. Oh, that scared them away. That's how you know they ain't real. That's why I started talking about I'm testing them, and they fell off the damn bus. Oh damn, he noticed me. Oh, yeah, I noticed. I always notice. What you think this is? Don't be weird. Anyway, but yeah, so the price of groceries, all that kind of craziness, right? And that stuff helps me put stuff in perspective all the time. Because it's all going to come down to the ills of this capitalist stuff we all dealing with, right? Like, when you want to go on vacation, and in my case, it's not just a vacation. This is an adventure for vlogging. It's a job. It's work. It's equipment. It's packing a certain way. It's the cost of your luggage. You know, when you tried to keep the bag under 40 pounds and it ended up at 42, and it's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to charge you $90-something, $100. God, yeah, you know, all of that, you know. All that stuff there, right? But here's what I started to, like, I'm going to go back to the very beginning of what I started saying about this thing I'm trying to do and why it is becoming a real lesson, yet one more lesson I can share in travel for those who want to do adventure travel. And adventure can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I'm only speaking from the stuff that I like to do when I say adventure. Like, I love to hike, I love to fish, and I love beaches. Okay? So, you know, walking in a desert is cool, walking up a mountain, a hill is cool, fishing anywhere is grand. And I've learned, like, for instance, there was, and forever will, because I'm gonna get there. I'm saying it like that just because it's leaning towards I might have to put Brazil on the back burner of the stove, but it's still simmering. You know what I'm saying? It's still simmer down now. Anybody remember the joke from Saturday Night Live? I don't want to get on a tangent, but that used to be so funny. I loved it. They used to have this joke on Saturday Night Live. I don't know which of them crazy comedians came up with that one, but I can see her face. I can't think of her name. Look, the shortest little lady, one of the shortest little ladies that was a little white woman who always played these super quirky characters. She's funny as hell. But she was like this store owner, shop owner in this country town. And all these people who were from the city would come in and they talking all fast and trying to get stuff done all quick. And the whole joke is like, you know, supposed to be this stereotype that everybody in the South want to take everything slow and easy. So they would be talking all fast. And she'd be like, hey, nah. Wait a minute now. And it was like the accent was sort of like New Orleans, kind of sounding like Louisiana. So I said, oh Lord, they so stupid. Like what, they been somewhere and they heard this, so they had to make a joke. He said, now wait a minute now. You're going too fast now. I need you to simmer. And they'd be like, what? What you need me to what? What did you say? I said simmer. So what's the city person? What's a simmer? What's a simmer? You don't know how to simmer down. And then everybody else in the whole place would be like, you need to simmer down now. And they'd be like, say what? What are you people talking about? Excuse me? Simmer down now. I used to love that. Being from the South, boy. Oh my gosh, I'd be crying laughing. And the funniest one she ever did, this fool came in, was talking all fast, doing the same old mess. And she said, hey, no, wait a minute now. I need you to simmer. And the woman was, I think it was a woman. She was like, what, you eat me? She said, come on, we're gonna take it slow together. Simmer, mama. She was like, what? Simmer, mama. She said, you know when an engine don't want to start, you had to crank it real slow. She said, what? You want to start cranking it up, you say, simmer, mama. Simmer, mama. Simmer, mama. Simmer down. Yeah, yeah. That's what you gotta do, y'all. That's what you gotta do. When it start getting too crazy and you ain't, you ain't even got the money yet, but you got all these plans and everything. You just have to simmer down now. Simmer down now. Simmer down now. Simmer down now. Right now. Right now. Yeah, so that's what I had to do, man. I just said, you know what? Simmer down now. Simmer down now. It's gonna be all right. If it's meant to be, it's gonna happen. I always know that. I've learned to trust in the universe. Okay? I don't care what your religious perspective, I'm not religious, but whatever words you need to put in there to make you feel good to understand what I just said. If you religious, you Christian, you got to say it, and all things in God's time. If that make it feel good for you, say that. That's fine. Same thing I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Everything's included. Universe blessed. Universe blessed. So I had this realization because, I mean, the Brazil thing, I had to understand. I said, look, for the trip I want to take to Brazil, there's one place I want to go the longest part of the trip. Like, if I spend 4 or 5 days there, I'm happy. Versus there's another place I want to go, and I don't need but about 3 days. What's ironic about life, I could go there, and the one I'm saying 3, I might end up regretting and say, man, I wish I gave that the more time. I had more fun there. That's life, you pick and choose, but I do know I will save more money in the other place, from a general way people talk about these two places, and no, I'm not naming them on purpose, because for one thing, I don't care about other people's opinion. If I'm gonna get that debate going, it's gonna be after I've had the experience, so I can, yeah. Pardon the interruptions, y'all, but this is how it flows every time I do a live. Every time I go live, it's gonna be like this, because when I'm rolling anyway. So we're gonna keep breaking it down, safely. Got everything on my little tripod here and everything, hands free, on the steering wheel, gripping it up, getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so with the travel thing, with the 2 places I said in Brazil, I came to this would be a $3,000 trip at the minimum. At the minimum, 3,000. And if I was doing it on some budget, take a risk, roll the dice, know that something gonna come up and maybe it won't, so maybe not, so I don't know, 2,500 would be what that is. It could be pulled off for 2,500 USD, but I've learned when you travel, it's better to just have a cushion, man, because the crazy stuff that come up, you do not want to feel that pain when you get home. Oh man, I knew I should have done this. Or while you there, I mean, you stuck and you got to wait on something. And oh man, ain't nothing worse than that. And I've been through that on multiple trips to know how stuff happens. And it's always some new thing you're not expecting that will happen. That is the part of travel people don't show you in the little videos most of the time. Some people do, and I appreciate the YouTubers who be like, let me tell y'all what happened to me. Just a pain in the ass. But then you see I'm still happy because I finally got to this beach or whatever. That, man, look, the stuff we get on the plane for is the medicine for all the pain. If it were not for the beaches, if it were not for the scenic views, if it were not for the fun, wonderful people and not the assholes you come across, you wouldn't, man, there's no one would know what hey. Everybody wouldn't even want to try, and that's pathetic because it sure as hell ain't nothing perfect about where you're leaving, so you may as well still go. But I will say it ain't perfect, and you got to know that about the experience. It's always going to be challenges, like every damn thing else in life. But you just weigh out what kind of challenges you want to tolerate. It's got to be tolerable. It can't be, man, this is really about to ruin this trip. It can't be like that. It's got to be, oh man, I'll be all right. I just said, once I put this over there, around, get home, work a little more than I normally do, I'll make up for that or what. You got to have that perspective. It's got to feel like that. It can't feel like, oh, shish, what, uh-oh, I'm stuck. That ain't it. That ain't it, my friends. That stuck feeling is the worst thing ever happened to a person in any situation, goddamn. Not just travel. That's just not the way to live in general, right? So, we all got to figure it out for ourselves, and everybody got their limits on what makes it doable and non-doable, But, I just started weighing in. I said, okay, so that's 3,000, man. It's hard enough just getting 1,000, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I made my decision. I said, maybe I need to consider, and it hurt to say it, but I said, get off that and hurt to say it out. It ain't what I wanted to do for September, but it might be what I have to do to still enjoy my day and days around it and make it the birthday trip it deserves to be. My bucket list of fish has always been very extensive, and there's a lot of variety of types of fish on that list. And they're in different places. Like, naturally they would be. That's how I love it, that it gives you the option to see a lot of things I haven't seen. So even traveling domestically does appeal to me for that part of it. I admit, going other nations is way more important to me than just staying here. I would much rather go to Brazil than go to another state here. But I'm considering this one state, and I'm going to tell y'all the state. I ain't going to tell y'all the places. If you know enough about the places, it's easy to guess between a couple of, hell, honestly, it might not be as easy to guess if you really know the state, because these can be found all over the state. And that's what makes this place so amazing for that. But the state I'm talking about is Texas. Shout out to Texas. All the Texas folk, y'all go ahead and y'all tip your cowboy hats and everybody get happy and do your dance. All the folk who like to do that little dance when the song is on. Where them fans at? Y'all can start doing that and play your Beyonce and all. Where them fans at? And all that. You can do all that if you want. But there's two towns in particular that I've considered. And I could go to either one and have a good time for what I'm talking about. But Texas is a GAR capital of the United States. There's probably, in my opinion, more diversity of gar, and definitely the largest of all the largest species of gar on Earth is the alligator gar. Okay, and then you have the long-nosed gar. Now we have long-nosed here in Georgia, and if you know my channel, you know I love me some gar, and I go fishing for them, and I've caught them, and I enjoyed it. And I still need to go this year here. I need to do that here. That's a whole nother thing. If I can, the absolute just didn't get a chance to do none of what I wanted to do, can't afford to go nowhere at all, I'm gonna at least go guard. If the sun is out like it is on a day like today, or it's 93 degrees, or what's the temperature today? I know it was 93 earlier. It was crazy. It's hot out here, as usual. Okay, it's 91 now, but it was 93 when I got in the ride. If a day like any day you hit 90 degrees, that's good gar fishing. And it's sunny and it's balmy, and this is perfect. Today is perfect. And I wanted to go today, actually, but I gotta get in this car, I gotta ride, I gotta do this work, gotta do what I'm doing, gotta just stay on the, stay focused, try to reach the goals, keep the groceries, keep the gas, keep the bills paid, and try to save. That's all I can do, man. That's all I can do until it's gonna all come together, right? So, I could go gar fishing locally and switch it up from what I usually do and try to do some kayak fishing, because I've never done that. And I know somebody I can go through to do that, and I know I can afford it. So that's the last resort option that, I did that. But I honestly don't even want to catch a gar from a kayak, to be honest. I just want to paddle to a place that's a good spot, pull up, park the boat, strap it in, and fish off a shore I can't access normally from where I hike. So even that's a good option of something fun that would make it adventurous and new, and I'll see a part of the river I've never seen and all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, that does make it appeal. And even saying it out loud like that makes me not feel so bad about if I can't pull off this trip thing. But I'm gonna finish telling y'all about the trip in a minute. Whew. Oh my gosh. And we're back in. Go tell a friend, we're back in. All right. Whoa. He just kept rolling too. It's too much going on, Wow. Anyway, all right. Shout out to my one looker right now. But I know I had about at least 50 people up in this live though, seriously. Shout out to the real ones in it. Not just folk who kind of went by, kind of was curious. No, like folk who really listened and learned and enjoyed whatever I was saying earlier. So I was talking about travel. I was talking about a couple of trips that I know I have to take. Like all of the ones I'm saying, all these places I'm talking about are places I want to go. I want to make no, as I criticize what makes one place better than the other, or I would rather do this any day than do that. Don't get it misconstrued. Because I know how people feel when they hear their home mentioned. They like, oh, you're talking about me. Because you make this place your identity, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can talk about Atlanta all you want, as long as you don't try to sum it up to your lame ass experience. If you think that one little trip to Atlanta, or even living here, or even being from here, if you got a problem like I'm from here, we got a right to talk about it when you're from here. But I'm saying, if you got whatever your experience ain't the only experience, you know what I mean? So just know that whenever somebody's talking about a place that's familiar to you and means something to you, and don't take it personal. So that said, like I said, Brazil is high on my list and remains high on my list. I mentioned Colombia, I mentioned Peru. I said too that I was thinking about Texas. Now, how did I jump all the way back to Texas? Well, because I said the cost of going to all those places in South America, no matter how much affordability it is with hotels, with even Airbnb, which I'm not big on these days when it comes to that. I'm just not. I'd say Airbnb, I feel like this. Airbnb or Vrbo can work best in America. For the prices you getting on hotels, and then you checking on ratings of hotels and what's going on with what people say about a place, and you see a hotel that's a 3-star hotel or 4-star hotel, but it's got 2 stars, you're like, damn, what the hell are they doing? I don't even look at nothing that's less than 4 stars. If it ain't 4 stars, I'm not even looking at it. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. And I do read ratings. I do read reviews, because people who've had a bad emotional experience are going to be emotional when they write it, and you're going to be able to tell this is the truth. They're not just making up nothing. When a woman says, damn it, I saw a roach as soon as I walked in my room, I believe it, and I ain't staying there. That's just what it is. I ain't going nowhere where there's no freaking roaches. I'm not working this freaking hard, okay? Doing the stuff y'all see me doing every time I go live, delivering and doing all this stuff I gotta do, man. I'm not going through that for months to get anywhere and see a goddamn bug when I walk in the room. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not tolerating it. I'm not even accepting it. There ain't no debate about it. There ain't no, because I read other people's reviews, and there's some people, there was one woman who wrote, this is a woman too, that black made me laugh. I was like, hey, some, I know she the minority, talking about, a roach greeted me when I first got in my room. It was dead, so whatever. But the place is old. It's kind of run down. I'm gonna tell you what when I had to break down where I was talking about too. And I don't remember the name of the hotel. But this was all in Texas, okay, in a certain major city. All right. Now, like I said, I'm not giving the names of the so you can feel a little bit of self-assurance, all my people, American folks, if you're from Texas. I'm not saying what town. I'll just say it's a major town. Now, what does that leave you with? Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Dallas. Well, Dallas is Fort Worth. So Dallas, Houston. What else is major? Everybody always talk about Austin. You know what I mean? Could be that, but I'm not. I'm not gonna tell y'all where. I will say I've always wanted to go to Austin, because Austin is supposed to be real artsy and stuff. And I've heard that from sources who are either from there or been there, and it sounded like a place I want to see. So, it could be Austin, but I ain't gonna say it's Austin, all right? But anyway, I'm looking at these hotels, and they're talking about bugs and stuff. Now, it's the South. There will be bugs. When I used to have this job that made me in a situation where I had to go to Savannah, Georgia all the time, Savannah's more tropical. Atlanta's got woods, but Atlanta is tropical. Anytime it's tropical, the bug count go up at least twice, if not thrice, right? Man, I remember one time in a hotel down there, I was like, I came in and I saw this dead, big ass water bug. I said, oh hell, frickin' no. And the room was nice. That's what pissed me off the most. The room was really nice. I had a deluxe room that was like extra big and stuff. Had a whole little, like in addition, it was very spacious. It really felt to it. That wasn't used to hangers and the dang ironing board and the bathroom, all the standard stuff. But then this had like a whole little area in front of the window where you could sit on a couch, you could work at a desk if you wanted to. It was a real suite type vibe for business suite. I think that's what it was called. But I saw this mess when I first walked in. I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up the story. I wasn't a regular something, and I told them about the problem, and I give them credit at the front desk. They credited me the room I'm talking about that was so spacious to make up for the problem. And said, we're so sorry that you had to go through that, Mr. Wheeler. Allow us to make it right if you don't mind. Because they know you about to leave. They know you, well, yeah, just give me my money. I'm about this money. They're like, make it, we trust me. You won't have that problem in this room. And what's sad is that they know with their housekeeping and stuff, like, okay, on that floor we got a problem. On this floor we might have a problem. And on this floor we don't have as many problems. Put them on that floor, we almost don't have no problems. It's all ratios and percentages and chances, right? So sure enough, I ain't seen nothing else for the rest of the trip. You know, it was just a weekend, but still, I was like, man. But I enjoyed that bigger room and better situation. And, you know, once I knew that they were in the place, I was just extra careful about, you know, I didn't leave no trash untied when I go to bed. Some people just be on vacation and be like, whatever, man, you'll eat a whole pizza, drop all the ends of the crust, and all kind of, eat some juicy fruit and drop all the sweet stuff. You got all that grease and sugar and you don't expect bugs to come. Man, look, you better tie that shit. Resume as we continue. That's the thing I love most about YouTube Live. I ain't gonna even front. Like, there'll be issues with this here app, like every app, but for the most part, when it comes to that signal picking up and you can resume a live, if you got something to do, as long as you don't go away for too long, like, man, that's when I decided to start doing these lives like this. But anyway, back to my topic. So I was saying, you know, when I'm picking a place, yeah, hotel is everything. Wherever I'm gonna lay my head is everything. It's gotta be clean, bug-free, good service. I mean, service is one of the things I weigh on a different scale, only because unfortunately, ain't no excuse for it, but people just, y'all know I'm always preaching about respect. But a lot of people don't even understand what that really is. So as long as you get whatever it is you're supposed to be getting in a service situation, some people think, what's the problem? You got what you wanted. Like, you know, you got your food, so what, you didn't get no happiness with it, you didn't get no smile. You know, you're getting people in environments where they can't pay people or keep people who are nice long enough, because you get asshole customers too who treat decent people who are treating them perfectly fine with attitude, and they're like, you know, I don't need this, man. I'm college educated. I got this going for me, that going for me. Why am I gonna sit here and take ish off of some retard who can't freaking hold one of the hairs off of my chinny chin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just get to a point, and that's how they know in a lot of these service jobs that they gonna hire a bunch of derelict ass folk, because those folk will, you know, they on edge. If the public on edge, you just, you know, the minute one of them goes off, cusses somebody out, gets in a fight with them, all right, fire them, get another one. And it's like, and they're just a dime a dozen, right? Versus intelligent, skilled people with good attitudes, they're gonna demand more, and they know that, so they don't even want to deal with us. So I don't expect a lot when it comes to service. I hate to say, it's sad to say that out loud, especially if I'm in America. You know, when it comes to hotels, when I'm looking at reviews and seeing the front desk people didn't seem to know everything. These are some of the reviews I've read. They didn't seem to know everything I wanted them to know about everything. Man, these people are departmental. If that ain't their department, they might tell you with a smile, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't know, but I can ask maintenance to come and check that out for you. And then if maintenance is sorry, they're looking at it like, that's them, this is us. We front desk, that's maintenance. That's housekeeping, we front desk. Now, I know in our mind as a consumer, and it's rightful, it's good that it's natural we would think this way. This is just the hotel. And that's how we got to be about it from a consumer standpoint. The minute ish hit the fan, be like, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to speak to the old part, man. I'm going to get in touch with the fact that I'm part of your group, because they all want to get you on some little group for discounts, and you got this card or membership of some sort. And like, I have a membership with one that puts me with like all the major hotels, and I mean a good many of the major brands. And so I laugh anytime I have any problem, because I know hey man, by the time I finish writing the letter, y'all might have my pillow extra fluffed if I decide to stay there or whatever. But I don't even want to have to go through that. So I start with just a good review of a place that's already hired enough, well-groomed, well-attitude, that whoever there is the derelict. They're the minority. All the assholes on staff are the minority. This place has 5-star reviews for a reason. That's what I look for. And that's across the board. If I'm ordering a Lyft, Uber, rideshare, hey, I ain't dealing with, well, he closed, so I'll take this 3-star. I mean, I'll wait 2 hours from now. I'll keep walking before I get in the car with somebody who got a funky attitude, gonna treat you wrong. Because the chance of something like that turning into way more and being a disaster is the real risk. It's got a million ways it can go, especially when you're traveling. You're somewhere, you're not at home. It's bad enough when you are home and stuff happen, but you're not at home, man, please. No. Everything to prevent nonsense, whatever that may be, is the golden rule. So, yeah, I just look at all that and keep it in mind whenever I'm making my moves, right? So, that's another factor. And then I think about, you know, when it comes to, like I said, adventure travel, what your activity, main activity in this case is I want to go fishing for gar, alligator gar. If I did this Texas thing. That's the only main reason. There's a couple other things I added to it that make it seem more and more, you know, because if I got to make it just one day of fishing, that ain't going to make no sense because I'm not going to fly that far. It ain't that long a trip. It's like 2 hours and some change. I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but yeah, it's like a 2-hour flight if you do it nonstop. And so it's not bad from Atlanta to the place I want to go anyway, you know, because there's a lot of parts of Texas. But you're looking at 2 and some change, okay? And so when I consider that actually, that's a whole nother thing that makes me say, man, maybe it is time for this trip instead of Brazil right now. Because Brazil is one of them things, people don't realize how big these places are. People be looking at the map that's all skewed and not the map that's true to the size of the continents and stuff. Going to Brazil is like going to West Africa. You just didn't have to cross as much ocean, but you will be crossing a hell of a lot of land. You'll be crossing an ocean of land called Brazil. And you'll start with the ocean of Colombia and all that. Like when you're coming down through the Caribbean, you get past all the water. By the time you hit like where Trinidad and Tobago is, and then you're coming on into the rest of it, man, when I tell you that continent is so long. It's long as hell. And like I say, I ain't got to do it to know it because I've had a trip to Malaysia, and I just know how it felt when I literally just had this feeling like, could y'all please just land the plane and just I don't know, let's walk around for a little bit and then get back on. You're just so exhausted by the time you get to crossing across the top of Africa. Man, you like, first of all, if you're anything like me, I'll never forget the feeling. I kept feeling like, man, I always say I wanted to go to Africa, man. Let's just stop so I can get a taste of wherever we are. I don't care, Morocco, Tunisia, but just stop the plane for a second. You know, that's how you feel. So with South America, it's gonna be about the same because that distance is the same. All I had to do was see them damn numbers. I said, wait a minute, 13, 14. I said, well, damn, this is like going to freaking Turkey for the layover to continue on to Malaysia. That's how it was when I did that. That's how long it took. It took 24 hours, y'all. But it's the other thing. A lot of the layovers for that journey are crazy, but it can save you all this money, but it ain't really saving you that much. So I started realizing that. I said, man, it's worth the extra hundreds or whatever to not be up in an airport for a whole day. Just go on and cut out the I used to say, well, maybe, you know, and I still say, if you can afford 2 places in one trip, do it. Because that's my ultimate way of how I'd like to do it. If there's a place I would have a layover anyway, okay, but it's a quick exchange, like a 2-hour layover, okay, cool. Well, if I can afford it, like I say, if I can afford it, yeah. Plan a couple of days there. I got 2-3 days here. I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna explore here for a minute, then continue on, get back on the plane refreshed and finish the last lap, you know, and get to the main destination. But you don't have to, you don't have to put yourself to that drudgery. I'm learning how. I used to wonder why people sometimes would look at me like, when I tell my friends who travel a lot more than me, how long my layover was and stuff. Because these dudes got money, right? I'm thinking about some of my friends. This one dude, he a doctor, he go all the time. And they're like, man, your layover was how long? Like, because he ain't never done that. Because he gonna always pick the ticket that's more expensive, don't even care. Just whatever, man, bill me, but I ain't standing there. If you cut down the length of your layover, I've learned two things about that when you're looking at prices of tickets. If you want an AM flight, it's gonna always cost more. Because everybody, generally, not everybody, but most people don't want no damn red-eye flight. Only folk who trying to save a buck, which I've done this, but you gotta understand, your time and your energy is money. If you're exhausted when you get a place, you're not thinking right. That's gonna cost you in other ways. Because you're gonna make some bad decisions because you're sleepy, you're tired, you're cranky, you're this, you're that, you whatever. All that stuff is gonna affect your arrival. So it's always better to do an AM arrival. And if you're leaving coming home, okay, I don't mind doing an afternoon. I still don't want to do, I'll do an early morning. I don't like no damn, I'm not a morning person like that. So I avoid early ass morning flights too, because you still got to be there 2 hours early. So if it's a 6 a.m. flight, well, hell, international, you need to be at 3. So you're gonna be waking up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning getting ready. I know, I did it in Mexico. It was crazy. I'm on the street at 3 a.m. in the morning with my bags, walking to get to the bus, to then get to the airport, to then get up out of there. And it was like, golly, I'm tired. Shish, But it worked out. All right, y'all. Back in, tell a friend, we back in. So as I was saying, my other way of it would be too that, with this place I want to go, right? The domestic version, like I say, if I do this Texas thing, I'm just always weighing it out in my head, And I hate to say right now, because it's not what I wanted initially, but I'm trying to get my mind, I have to switch gears mentally so I can focus enough on the new plan, if that's gonna be the new plan. Because again, we talking a matter of weeks and stuff. September will be here like, never mind. I ain't worrying about what you thinking about. Well, here it is, let's go, And I just know that I really want that Brazil thing to happen. Like if a windfall came through, y'all start watching content like y'all ain't never watched before. This channel gets monetized overnight. Boom. Oh my gosh, first check is amazing. I'm gonna celebrate in Brazil. Hello, you know what I mean? But I'm realistic. I know how it go. If it ain't happened that way yet, it probably ain't gonna happen that way. But in terms of me still being on Marketplace all the time, selling stuff that I needed to get rid of anyway, that might do it. It's gonna be nickel down until I get enough and be like, I'll be damned, look at that, I got enough to go. Let me go somewhere. You know what I mean? But if that be that, it's still more than likely, it ain't gonna be no 3,000. It's gonna be, I'll be lucky, like I say, if I even get close to 1,000, and I know I could pull off this Texas trip with just right at 1,000, because I ain't trying to do no extravagant trip. First of all, it's easy for me, and it's gonna sound weird to some adult ears, because that's all they think about is a damn drink, some smoking, whatever. I don't do none of that. So you talking about saving? Man, please. All the stuff y'all be worrying about, give me that budget. Whatever y'all usually spend on drinks, man, I'll make a whole trip out of that. I will make a whole trip in another country out of that. Straight up. Because y'all be wasting life. And I'm here to live for real. I ain't playing with none of that poison. I'm here for the real. So, yeah, give me these big, crazy fish that been here for 150 million years worth of DNA. I'm about that. I'm about that life. Unashamed. Because that sounds weird and all that. And that's why I know you ain't me. And that's why you ain't even supposed to be here. Put them kids to bed. We over here doing adventure stuff. You ain't got to even do it to appreciate it. If you can't appreciate it, this ain't your channel. I can tell you that right now. Because we going to keep talking what we talk, doing how we do. Unapologetically. Understand that. We fish. We get in the outdoors. I don't give a shit about a drink. I don't give a damn about no smoke. You know what I'm saying? If I go to the club, I'm there to actually dance. I'm there for the ladies and I'm there to dance. You understand? So like all of that, real fun time, not the BS. That's what I'm trying to share with you. For anybody who could appreciate that. If you loved, if just the sound of that sounding so different warms your heart, subscribe. All right, all right, all right. We are back. We are back. We're back in, back in. Tell a friend, tell a friend. As I was saying, yeah, man. If you just if your priorities are different from what's so atypical of most people of a certain age demographic coming out of America, they literally, man, these companies that sell y'all this stuff, they got y'all in a built-in life trap. Like they know how much liquor you gonna buy, they know how much weed and all this other stuff, hookah and whatnot you gonna smoke and everything in a lifetime now. And the liquor been here forever, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, the weed the way it is has not been here forever. Hookah damn sure wasn't here. That wasn't a thing. People didn't know what's a hookah. You ain't gonna find no 70s movie unless it's one talking about some psychedelic type folk who was smoking some variation of that through one of those same devices. Okay, they wasn't into that back then. This stuff is new, man. They created new markets for all you 20-something, 30-something folk to be addicted for life and find out years from now what this lady that worked at the CDC told me one time on a rideshare ride when I used to do rideshare, and I used to pick up some of the most interesting, powerful, influential people in the city of Atlanta. All by chance half the time. And got this ride, and we had a good conversation. That lady, she broke it down. She said, the only thing that's supposed to go through your lungs is air. I said, you better, wow, how about that? She said, the only thing that's supposed to go through your lungs is air. I said, well, damn. Translation, anything else that you putting in there for your, the reaction it gives you, and it's doing harm. Ain't no way around it. Now, some folks say, well, that's the kind of harm I want. Well, do you? All I'm saying is, I just know what I'm into, man. If that's your limitations, if that's where you stuck, like that becomes a thing for me when it picks, when I'm picking a fishing friend, somebody to go out fishing with. Like, I'm trying to find somebody even locally in the area of Texas I want to go that might not charge me an arm and a leg or charge at all, because they just love fishing for gar like I do. And they know how blessed they are to be in a place that's got pretty much every gar species on the planet, with the exception of like 2 or 3 species. But other than that, they got all the major players. They got spotted gar, they got short nose, they got, which spotted are short nose, but they just have a distinct look. They got the long nose, and they got some beast long nose, just like we do. But they say everything in Texas is bigger. Excuse me. I think my water went down the wrong way, hit that air pipe. But yeah, and then they got the alligator gar. So, hey, I think after the sturgeon, the alligator gar is like the largest freshwater fish in the Americas. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. And here we go. So where did I leave off? I think I was talking about, I was comparing the prices. So here's reality, right? The tickets from gather, you could do about doing some change to get to this place, and that ain't bad. That ain't bad. It ain't. Again, I had to keep reminding myself it's what I want out of the place, not the place itself. Because honestly, yeah, I don't mind wanting to see a new state I've never been to, but it's really more about what's there when I get there than the place itself. So for me, once I add these two things together, it's what is equaling, maybe it's worth it. So I want to see this one. We're not entering, we're in football season here, right? And even though I'm a casual football fan, I do love marching bands. I love HBCU marching band. Okay, I like marching band sound. I grew up in all of that forever and a day. I even played when I was in high school, okay? And I was in a really good band at that. You know, band that was a high school band that was equal to a college band. We really were. We were ranked like that back in my day. And so anyway, there's a band that's one of my favorite HBCU bands that is part of this town. So at this point, anybody who's a real head, they know which town I'm talking about. Y'all done already guessed, whatever, right? But they're playing, they're having games now. And I said, oh my gosh, I could go see a game. I could go see them play. I could go hear this band live versus just watching videos on YouTube and saying, dang, they good, man. They good. I like that. I love that sound. I love that sound when I hear folks got them solid bands, you know. And so that's another thing. Then there's like a favorite fit that I put together on style tip. You know, there's certain outfits you have, certain pieces you have in your closet that are truly like archival representations of eras in your life, of historic monuments to your sense of fashion, right? And there's a shout out to Collegiate Lux. Again, people who are diehard, true ONYXCON heads, y'all know what I'm talking about, because I done already done content about this stuff and everything, and I've worn it a few times, selective times. I don't bring this one out all the time, so it's probably it is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, sweatshirt I have. And that's a lot of sweatshirts, because I can't say the coolest. Yeah, I'll put it like this. In the college, yeah, as far as a school, yeah, it's the coolest. It's damn sure the coolest. See, I had to get categorical. I didn't say professional team. I didn't say, you know, yeah, out of all my college hoodies and stuff, they ain't nothing. Nah, this the one. This the one right here, right? And it's not even a hoodie. It don't even have to be a hoodie. I say hoodie or a regular sweatshirt. This is a regular sweatshirt, and it kills my baddest collegiate hoodies that I have for college teams and stuff that have real cool emblems and stuff. It's just the baddest thing in the closet. It's just so freaking fresh. And every time I wear it, it's one of them bow down moments. Like everybody just like, that thing is serious. Like it has the same effect every time I wear it. Heads breaking, necks snapping, compliments coming from every which way. It do what it do. Shout out to Collegiate Lux. That's the company that make them. Collegiate Lux, black-owned, HBCU-driven company. Okay, they support HBCU culture and all of that. That's their main objective. So, and now that we coming back, and like I say, we are in football season. It's weird to me because until the weather changes, I don't really feel it. I'm sure somebody's played some college games somewhere. I don't pay attention, like I said, until the weather changes. That's when it really could. Into next month, September, and October for sure. It's full-fledged, full throttle. October through February, baby. It's on. So anyway, so I can go see a game. I can go see this band. That's a highlight. Now, the expense of the game, man, I ain't been to a college game, let alone an HBCU game, in decades. Nah, I take that back. Hold up. I'm going too far. It ain't been that long. I'm thinking about the last time I did one here in Atlanta. No. Shout out to TU. I went to a Tuskegee University game. That was the last time, and that was a fun game too. It was homecoming. so you know it was fun. Don't nobody get crunk like Tuskegee at homecoming. They do their thing. And I got a lot of family who went to that school and all that and have a lot of ties to it and everything. Shout out to Tuskegee, Alabama. Shout out to Tuskegee, the Tuskegee Institute, Tuskegee University. And so, man, I got to sit right up under the band. Like literally the row behind our head was the first row of the band, and they was blasting. I damn near went deaf on that day. Happily, like, I can't hear nothing, but it sounds so good. Like, you know, it was like that kind of loud. Yeah, boy, they was bringing it. And it was fun. It was big fun. So I just like, that's something I've been wanting to do since and haven't done in years. So I'm like, that's one major highlight to this possibility of this journey. And it's gonna make it worth, like I said, because the ticket is a little more expensive than I thought it would be for a game like that. And it's a home game and all this stuff at their stadium. Man, I was like, man, these folks charging some money these days. But I think about it, I'm like, hey, if you have problems getting alumni to pay up and stuff to keep the programs going and everything, you got to get it somehow. So, and these smaller, well, this ain't no, I ain't use me saying no smaller school, but you know, compared to certain other schools with these insanely huge budgets and endowments and everything, yeah, would be small in that regard. But they have facilities, they have state-of-the-art stuff, they have nice stuff, they have stuff that's old, you know, but they got to get it somehow. So I was like, you know, that'd be the other part of how I just swallowed the thought of, okay, man, the ticket is how much? Damn, it's like $80, y'all. I was like, God damn. I honestly thought, yo, man, you know, first of all, I thought there would be variations on the seats. That was the lowest price seat. They go up from there, by the way. There's some $100+ seats at this game. I said, okay, I am Rip Van Winkle waking up out of the slumber of years, not knowing this is what it is now, at going to anything damn near. It's like folk are charging what they charge. If you want to see it, this is what it's going to be, right? And I had to have that wake up call. So once I got that reality, I said, well, there it is. You know, it is what it is. I have the other most important part of the trip, the part that really is making me consider go to Texas, and that is fishing. Because honestly, as much as I enjoy in-person live music, I get that every year, at least in some form. I don't get it in the form of marching band, which I thoroughly enjoy. But if I just had to have that, and even the band I'm talking about, plus 20 other bands or whatever be in a Ballad of Bands, they always have at least 2 or 3 Ballad of Bands come through Atlanta. If I saved up the money to go to one of those, I could see this same band. But I just thought it would be a bigger tribute to a band that, you know, I'm wearing your stuff, I like your logo, I love the mascot and I love the band. To be able to say with my chest, yo, man, I've been there. Not just, I'm just wearing it, you know, like, so when people stop, hey, man, yeah, man, such and such, blah, blah, because they're an alumni, because that happens. When you wear people's stuff, they're going to check, you know, hey, what's up, man? You went to so-and-so? And at least I can say, I ain't go, but brother, I've been to y'all, I've seen the game, home game last year, you know, and they be like, that's luck, because they know you had to make an effort to do that. So they going to respect that, you know what I mean? And it gives it more weight when you're wearing, you know, a jersey with their stuff or whatever. It's like, it's not just for the fashion of it, which is okay too. Because I always say all the time, one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to in black fashion, which doesn't have one definition, but in terms of a lot of urban fashion traditions, people match colors and insignias and logos and even give stuff new meanings, good and bad, okay, over whatever the hell they want it to mean to them. And ain't never been a place, like literally never ever been to the damn place, but you wearing that team and not, like, you know, Atlanta as a city becomes so popular. I now see A-hats for the Braves like I used to see. I mean, well, you'll forever see the New York Yankees. I think the New York Yankees is the most recognizable, most universally worn insignia on the planet, quite frankly, when it comes to sports apparel. I'd love to put that into ChatGPT and see if it would say agree or something. But there ain't a place I've been and there ain't a video I don't watch from all over the world where if people even wear baseball caps, because everywhere that's not even popular, but where they do, woman or man, child, grown or whatever, somebody got on a damn with that NY Yankees joint. And I'm cool with it because I like the Yankees logo. I actually want a collection of, I need at least about 4 or 5 of them in different colors and stuff. And I've seen some really nice ones I wanted. But I've actually been to New York too. I also want some Mets. I've seen some really cool Mets caps that I like. But like, you know, and I could wear that with all my chests because I know that's more the Brooklyn thing. And I had my year in Brooklyn. I walked them streets. Before gentrification. I give you another level of certification when you did it during before gentrification. The streets was rougher, man. It was different. Very different. But yeah, I gotta experience that. So I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it for this Texas thing. And of course, y'all gonna be the first to know if it happens because I'm gonna make some amazing content. But the main thing is the fishing. And here comes the next cost. Let me tell y'all something. The sight of a gar, period, any species, has become such a fascinating thing on YouTube and all over the internet. Because I admit, I know the feeling because I didn't know what a gar was all my life. And I'm from Atlanta where they were here all my life and I didn't even know it until the first time I ever saw a gar in my life, it's either 2 ways if I'm remembering right. I'm thinking of 2 stories. One time at the aquarium, but then I know this must have happened before the Georgia Aquarium. But, because I can't remember when the Georgia Aquarium opened, but it wasn't open when I was a kid. That thing came later I think they opened in the late 90s or early 2000s. I forget when it opened, but it's a very new, more modern Atlanta thing, you know? And it's beautiful. It's one of the most amazing aquariums in the world, straight up. It deserves its reputation. But, me and my dad were on Lake West Point, which I would say is his favorite lake of all time because he's fished more days on it than any other lake. And he knows it, every corner of it. And so we were on his boat, and bass boat. And there's a huge stainless steel prop for the engine, okay? And you know, and he got that real thing on the back, you know what I'm saying? That Mercury, that big body Mercury. So it's a huge prop. There's a lot of chrome in the water, right? And God likes shiny things. I've come to realize all longfish like shiny things. Most fish like shiny things, but the longer body, all the long body fish, man, they love something shiny. They're like, what's that damn shiny thing? And they also like very bright stuff. It just makes them curious or go into attack mode or check it out first mode. So if you know anything about all the many ways that gar can swim, they're like helicopters in the water. They can hover if they want to. They can be still to the point where you wonder if it's alive because they're not moving at all. And then their fins will start doing this little thing, you know. They just the smoothest. They are the smoothest. I love them. I absolutely are. I'm always fascinated by gar. But anyway, it was a long nose, and it was more of the golden variety because they be olive to, they can be any of the colors I'm saying together or just more so one or the other. Browns to gold to yellow, you know, straight up, when I say gold, I mean like yellow kind of color, or something that really looks like metal almost because of the variation of, they can have a little sheen and glitter in their scales too. Like underneath the olive, sometimes the tones will have this turquoise type glittery flake in it. People don't know how beautiful. Some people talking all that ish about what's a beautiful fish and what ain't, and what's ugly in it. You got your mind if you think a gar is not beautiful. They are incredible. So anyway, this thing rolls up from the depths, and there was a still moment on the lake when we weren't talking and we just casting and fishing. And I said, the hell am I looking at? Because I can't believe I'm seeing, I've never seen this shape. So I'm like, why does this fish have this long beak nose? And I'm seeing these yellow fins with spots on. I remember seeing them spots vividly. And I said, hey, Dap. I said, hey, man, I see something back here. I don't know what it is. Some fish, he's looking at the prop. He's amazed by the boat prop. He's just like nose in front of me, the tip of it, and it's got this long snout, man. Wait a minute, oh snap, it went down. It went down just like that. And it just literally went back down like a submarine into the depths where you couldn't see it. He said, man, that was a gar. Yeah, it was a gar, man. You said you saw him, man? I said, yeah, I saw him. I said, man, it was like 3 feet long or something like that. You know, pretty standard for a nice chunky. And then, okay, y'all. All right, we're gonna finish this talk. We are gonna finish this. Oh, this signal is whack. Signal is whack. Oh, this signal is whack. Signal is, yeah, that vibranium.